What the Spaniards came and saw in California, they described as looking like a well-tended garden. It looked like that because it was. The people had lived with the plants, had lived with the animals, and had evolved an ecology based on bringing what they needed close to their home villages. To maximize the growth of that through our land management techniques, to keep it growing in close to the village, to bring game in close to the village so they didn't have to go farther and farther afield. And that's our ecological knowledge. What plants are used for food, what plants are used for tools, what plants are used for medicine. Yana hey yane, yana hey yane, yana hey yane, yana hey yana hey yana hey yane. It means I'm coming in a good way. It means I'm coming with a song in my heart. And if you don't have that song in your heart, don't go gather. If you don't have that song in your heart, don't go cook. And it brings that spirit of happiness and joy into what you're doing. So I take the little tobacco, I leave it down here, I say, I'm coming and you're gonna help me make medicine, you're gonna help me make some tea. My name's Kat High, and I'm a descendant from the Hoopa tribe in Northern California. I grew up in Redondo Beach, Palos Verdes, and learned about plants from my father and my mother down in Southern California. This is mugwort. It grows in a moister area. It's used for ceremony in Northern California. It's also used as a medicine. You can make a tea out of it, or you can make a tincture, which you would put externally. What I'm gonna do is boil up some water with some mugwort leaves in it for a tincture for mosquito bites to decrease the itch and the pain from them. I've learned from elders and from others that if you're out in the woods and you get the poison oak, the mugwort is a really good antidote for it. And you can see the color has gotten dark green. That's it. The mugwort can be used as an antiseptic. Sage can be used as an antiseptic.
White sage is medicinally, you take a couple of leaves and make a tea to get rid of colds and stuffed up sinuses and stuff. It relieves mucuses. So the only person that shouldn't drink white sage tea is pregnant and nursing women. So we eat the seeds, toast the seeds and eat the seeds, kind of like chia seeds. One of the most important uses of this plant was it was our toilet paper because it's soft and it smells good. And it's actually astringent too. My name is Richard Bugbee, and I'm Payonkochom, Yoam, Kumiai Shui, Monajola Yogombe, and Teowina. I was apprenticed for a teacher named Jane Dumas, and her first lesson was, how do I gather plants? And she taught me the first thing I do is to say a prayer to the plant. The second thing is to ask permission. And the third thing to do is to give the plant intent, what you're going to use it for. Because plants have lots of different purposes and they need to have a little direction sometimes.
Traditional ecological knowledge is a body of science that encompasses all sciences. If you are a people living in the same place, the same region for 1,000 years, you've watched the turn of the seasons, the migrations of animals, birds, insects, fire regimes, and how they move through plant life. All of those things together, how we hunt and fish, how we gather our plants, how we are able to subsist, all of that encompasses tech. My name is Sage Lapina. I am Nom Tupam and Nomsus Wintu from Northern California. And I am an ethnobotanist and certified medical herbalist. We're at one of the villages on the American River that was part of this whole river corridor of villages, which is Nisinan Maidu territory or southern Maidu. There's at least 3 or 4 plants just in this small area that are very useful. So this is Artemisia, and it is one of the plants we use a lot for either women's medicine, but also for protection. It's made into a tea, and it's drank to help regulate your moon cycle or your menstrual cycle. The main constituents of the oils that it has in it are very bitter in nature, and that bitter action helps balance all your systems in a row. So there's a domino effect or a cascade. When you intake of bitters, your digestive system is working better because then your gallbladder and your pancreas talk to each other. They work in unison. The tonic has to do with tonification. So you're toning those walls, which and then is also going out through that cell wall and helping that tone through both the blood, digestion, and then that's getting into your blood system, and then actually going out through your intestinal walls is helping to tonify your overall system. Herbalism is so much more than just, here's an herb, go ahead and take it. The way I was trained to be an herbalist was starting actually sitting in the woods, going with the person who was my mentor. I started as a child working with Mabel McKay. She's well known as a basket weaver and also as a doctor. And she had me sit for periods of time out there and just be observant, be conscious. I learned a completely different type of understanding of herbalism as a whole in nature, as opposed to just how herbs affect individual body systems.
For tens of thousands of years, Indian people have had a reciprocal relationship with plants. And it's been good for the people, it's been good for the plants. Everybody's been healthy and happy. For the last 500 years, that relationship has been severed. Plants aren't being gathered anymore. The plants are not happy. That's why they're kind of growing wild. In Indian, there is no word for wild.
I really want people to understand we as Native Californians, as traditional people, are utilizing the same medicines they are, and we're trying to harvest these things traditionally on our own or public lands that are in our tribal territories. And when people learn about herbs and how wonderful they are, and then they go out and gather all of them, we don't have access to our medicine.
I firmly believe that Native people and all people ought to be establishing their own gathering areas in their own homes or communities. Gardening in your own home is something that we've been developing here. We developed our Dogbane forest, and we turned our gray water into a gray water marsh so that we could grow tule, we could grow the Juncus textilis, we could grow the Uromanza, a lot of the plants that require more water without us having to water it using the gray water. I wouldn't be teaching about our culture and our environment and the way we do things without the belief that this is open to all people to not only learn but understand, to adopt, to take on as their understanding of this. So many people are relocated, and we have terms for that. It's called rootless. And what I'm hoping will happen is that all of those people will find a way to sink their roots into this earth and get nourishment from it and get an understanding of it and be able to give back to it.
We've been trained long-term, generationally, particularly in this country, to react a certain way to our environment or not react at all, to just have more consciousness about what we're doing on a regular basis.
The biggest misconception is you take humans out of nature, that nature comes back. And that's not true. You take humans out of nature, and there's something missing out of nature.